All right, gentlemen, I would like to propose a question to you. What would you find more concerning if you saw a large amount of blood in your poop or just a little bit of poop in your blood? Like you got cut and poop came out a little bit.
That one.
That
one.
I'm going to have to go with that second one, Yep.
Like you cut your thumb and
because
a little turd comes out.
Because at least if there's a lot of blood in your poop, you're like, I have a good idea what's wrong. But like if I just prick my finger and there's shit coming out of it, I have no idea what the hell's happening.
You somehow became the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's our New Year's episode. Thanks for listening. See you later. I did not plan that cold open very well. I'm sorry. Apologies.
That's all right.
It's the New Year's episode. I've been drinking tequila since, I don't know when today.
That's why they're a cold open.
Cold open. Yeah, they're cold. Frosty.
It's chilly. So chilly.
My nips are kind of erect right now. I don't know if you see that. I wish the folks could see that at home. I think they would. They might get too aroused, but... Oh, you know what? While we're in this old cold open thing here, I just want to give a shout out to our listeners because we picked up a lot of new ones this year.
Oh, yeah?
We have solid, 11 listeners in Australia now.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dude,
every
I love
episode
that.
gets 11 listeners from Australia, so they're frequent. We got also about 11 to 20, depending on the episode topic, from the UK. We got some... quite a few sexy folks from Canada. And Ontario's really bumping up the numbers. I dig that. So now,
that's a partying province, yeah.
What our goal is we're trying to boost our numbers worldwide so when we travel abroad in the future, we can crash on people's couches like bums and not have to pay those ridiculous hotel fees. No more hostels for us. I'm sick of getting almost murdered. Where else did we pick up? We have one guy in Russia, Vladi. Generic name, but that's probably his name. I don't know.
It's probably like Steve over there.
Steve. Richard. But he spells it with a bunch of squiggles. And I think we had somebody from Alaska, but they dropped off. Probably got mauled by a bear.
Yeah.
That's typical. You'll have that.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Froze to death.
Those poor Alaskans.
You know what else excites me? We have quite a lot of liberals from California who listen to us, but also a lot of Republicans from Texas.
That one confuses me a little bit.
I'm just assuming that's what it is because the area. But it could be from Austin. I mean, there's a lot of liberals in Austin. But I would figure Australia, I don't know if there's a lot of liberals there. Depending, because we had all the provinces or whatever they call it over there from Australia. So, what's your deal, buddy? That's what I heard him yelling.
Yeah.
He was cussing somebody out. He's going there just bawling some hobo that walked in. We've been having a lot of vagabonds outside lately. I don't know what's going on.
It's because of how popular we are.
Oh, yeah. So, again, shout out to all you fine listeners. We appreciate the booming numbers that are coming in. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, stick around. We're going to play this wonderful intro music, and then we'll be back. Hey there, fine listeners. You are engaging with us on the Drunken Pen Writing Experience. That was terrible. I don't even know what that meant. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me, as always, Spencer, the Stockholm Sticky Man Church. And coming from parts unknown, Mr. Ashley Hatter. How are you gentlemen doing today?
I'm not sticky, so I guess that's good.
Spencer's he's either sticky or greasy.
Yeah.
Sometimes slimy. All right. Today is our New Year's recap episode. Well, if you're listening to this, that means it is Tuesday, New Year's Eve. So you're probably drunk or going to be drunk, so you'll fit right in with this, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Since this was your idea, Spencer, would you care to start? I guess we're just going to go over our accomplishments and failures of the year. Start off with that.
Pretty much. Things we did good. The couple things we did good. All the bad stuff that we need to work on.
Things we did not so well. I would like to start by saying that I have written numerous short stories this year that I felt were decent, and my goal of getting published in a slightly more major magazine, like a literary mag or something, has not come to fruition as I got furious and quit that endeavor not long after I started. So maybe 2020 for that one. We'll get into that later.
Well, so that has a lot to do with what we've talked about in previous episodes, with just like the white guy writer,
That I had some things going on Twitter recently about that.
You always get something going on Twitter about that.
Well, I mean, it wasn't offensive on my part. I just asked the question about, because I read an article about white men in the publishing world and how publishers seem to be steering away from the white man. And I asked on the question, do people think that's good or do they think that's bad? And it was almost split. And I don't know exactly what that means, but there was a large portion, well, not a large portion, there was mainly two people who were fighting in the comments. Super liberal lady, super conservative lady, and I just enjoyed it. I didn't say a damn word.
Just watch.
Did not get involved in that, but I felt that topic maybe will be an episode in the future when we want to piss people off in 2020. But for now, we're going to enjoy ourselves. So yeah, other than that, I wanted to get the anthology out this year. That has not happened. I did want to boost the podcast numbers. That has happened, so that's a good thing. Ashley just informed me that the site views are almost doubled from last year, which we seem to double almost every year.
Yeah.
But we have not posted as much this year, so
No.
that's pretty good if we're doubling the fucking views without putting out as much content. Heck yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, sir? What are your accomplishments and failures of the year?
I feel like the quality of stories, when like I might not have put out as many like when we first started, especially with those ones just being like short, like flash fictions and stuff like that. I feel like that the less stories that I've told have been written have been better.
So your focus is more on quality than quantity.
Yeah, and that writing bigger pieces,
Yeah, kind of expanding your
bigger, longer storytelling. I think, obviously not a novel, just a solo novel itself. I mean, that's the big test there, you know?
For me, I would say that's at least a year or two in the future that I want to start working on that. Because my original goal, especially for this year, was just to build my personal audience and kind of my personal brand. And I've done that to a degree. I was hoping the anthology would be a good way to, really present myself and the rest of us. So hopefully early 2020 we'll get that out there and we can, give the readers more of a taste of us. And they kind of have to pay for it. So, if you're paying for something, you'll have you'll care a little more about it, I feel. And we'll get to what we're going to do in the future here. Same question goes to you, Ashley. What failures and accomplishments this year?
Failures. Let's see. Did not stick with my workout regime, but I did stick out with my drinking regime. So that's
something.
An accomplishment right there. Yeah, it's like got a short story published with the independent publisher Madison Press with their anthology Little Girl Lost. So that's something.
I was going to ask you because you sent me that thing for the Little Boy Lost, and I almost forgot about it. That's due in the end of February, right? The submissions for that? Because I was thinking of actually writing a story for that. I had an idea that I started a long time ago and just kind of wrote the notes down but left it off. And I think I might revisit that for that anthology. I think that'd be a good move for 2020.
Yeah, and they fill up pretty fast from my experience with them. They have like a cutoff date, but that's like the max cutoff. So as they're getting stories they're accepting, and the slots get filled up. So it might fill up by mid-January if people are hungry enough. So
right.
It gets competitive, but it was pretty cool. Piers Anthony, the author of the Xanth novels, he published in that one, so that was pretty neat. And what else did I do this year?
Lots of meth.
I napped a lot. No, meth. Yeah. No, I cut back on that actually, but I napped a lot, so that's something.
Yeah, napping's always good for the spirit.
Yeah, ate some celery, so I'm quote unquote healthy.
For DPW as a brand, we were planning on kind of either lowering or maintaining our press schedule this year, and we ended up doing more.
Yeah.
What did we do first? We didn't go to Cleveland this year, right? We did Pittsburgh and Columbus.
Yes.
And Then we also went to like 5 other fucking cons at some point.
Yeah. And now we're like in the midst of getting ready to go to probably one of our like biggest cons. And definitely farthest away.
I wouldn't say biggest, but I'd say farthest.
I don't know, man. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if that's a bigger show than a Wizard World show.
It'll be interesting to see. Actually, you might be. You're a Missouri fella. In Detroit, they're having the what is it? I forget the name of it. Astronomicon by Twisted. They I guess they put it on every year, and it's a horror theme con. So that seems cool. And they have a lot of guys that were with what was it? Strange Music.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them might show up, but I know like a lot of people on their own on Twisted's own label,
right?
And like everybody that's been working on like their comic book and stuff, it's gonna be there. That Source
Point Press.
Yeah, that they're probably gonna be there.
Well, I feel with our Wizard World connections and stuff, and just the people we've met at the different press events, we probably can fucking hang out with some of these people.
Oh,
so
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we should be able to have some fun with that. And
especially if we're not going in there, like, because this one's actually coming out of pocket, so it's not like
we're not obligated to write up on it or any dumb bullshit like that. We can just have fun for once.
Yeah.
The only downside is, again, it's like in the Detroit area in February.
Yeah.
So weather permitting, that's the only thing that would hold us back. Is if there's a fucking blizzard or something. Obviously, we're not gonna. Of course, if we get a rent-a-car and get the insurance.
No, yeah.
That might be the move.
Just because we're going to Detroit, we'll definitely get in the insurance.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Beer jive.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be a fun start to 2020 if that comes to fruition there. But yeah, we did some press gigs, and we actually, because of the podcast taking off, we didn't have to write as much, which was nice. I didn't have to cover as much or take as many pictures and videos. The Pittsburgh con was pretty shitty, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
We spent most of the time at the pickleball court. Columbus was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great show.
The after parties were pretty fun too, so we had a good time with that. I'm definitely gonna. I say
definitely
from now
Columbus.
On, we skip out the Cleveland one and do the Columbus one.
Yeah,
because I mean I like Cleveland enough to
maybe,
go. I guess
depending if we see some cool people going to Cleveland or something like that, do fucking both. I mean, they're not that far away.
Yeah, but I don't want to work. That's the problem. Like, who the hell wants to do all the work and writing and like, what are we, writers? We only a big portion of us starting the whole website was just to get into events for free.
Yeah,
and we definitely far past that.
We definitely. You figure the amount of money that we spent, just that we have to pay each year for the website and stuff like that. We probably saved at least that much in convention going.
Oh, definitely. We, of course, we do always get baller-ass hotels. We should stop doing that. It's just the convenience, man.
Yeah.
I like the hot tub, baby. Oh, man. Ashley got to go to one with us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We just need one, like, in your area or a good halfway point.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
No joke.
I was looking. I think the only other Wizard World is, like, St. Louis. And that would be fun, but I don't want to get murdered. You know what I want? You know what I really want to do? Conventions aside, DPW Mardi Gras.
They do have
New Orleans Con. I know,
yeah, I don't know when it falls, but no, I mean Wizard World has shows in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's. I just want to do the Mardi Gras drink, but I mean, if we cover a show down there, we can pretty much do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like that most day of the week.
If you in New Orleans, you can go. All you do is pay $300. Go to the police station and pay $300, and you get your own parade anytime you want. Just a day's notice. I don't know if you knew that. So you can go to New Orleans and just have fucking 3 guys, and you have a parade.
So DPW parade.
Yeah, DPW parade, and then you just wait. Everybody's drinking. 50 people. You go down the main streets and like Canal Street and stuff, and then everybody just joins.
Yeah,
that's a normal occurrence there. So we wait until everybody joins, all the fucking randos, and then we take pictures. Oh shit, DPW parade. Then we're legit, and we only paid $300.
That's not bad.
It's an awesome idea, right?
I would definitely throw in $100 for that.
Fucking right.
That's awesome, dude.
Plus
what about Chicago? Is anything happening in Chicago?
There's always I mean, they have that big C2E2 one there That's a big one, but I'm sure they have just normal, like, smaller cons.
They have a lot of cons.
That's a pretty good halfway point for us, because I can fly there, and it only takes like an hour or two.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
So that's not even a big deal.
Chicago would be cool. I don't know how I feel about going to such a big city. I mean, we've done pretty small cities for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Pittsburgh is probably the biggest city, but that's like our local area, so that's not really big to us. But Columbus is like too stretched out, so that's not really big. And then Cleveland, I mean, of course, Cleveland was pretty dangerous. So if there was a time we were gonna get stabbed or shot, it was definitely Cleveland St. Patrick's Day when we were there. So Chicago probably wouldn't be too bad. I think that would be a fun one. I have to see when they have Wizard World there, because I know there's one there. But C2E, like any of the big cons, we could get in for press.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, last year I applied for that anime con in Pittsburgh, and I just wasn't able to go, but they gave me the passes. Like any major, as long as they have a press credentials thing, we have enough work under our belt. They'll probably pass us. I mean, obviously,
we're gonna have to start testing our boundaries when it comes to like, even if we get back and they accept us and just be like, oh, sorry, unfortunate business came up, we can't go, but we appreciate it. Yeah. So then we know, like.
Just like apply for
San Diego. Hey,
just apply for White House press credentials and somehow get it. And be like, oh shit!
Oh, fuck.
Well, now we got to go cover the fucking president's speech. State of the nation. That would be awesome.
And that would be like the day that like Trump would get like impeached or something, and we
just get removed from office. That would be
breaking news. DPW.
The president's been shot. Holy shit! That'd be how it goes. We'd be interviewed and right as he got shot. What questions could we ask? We're not going into that. That's terrible. That's a terrible idea.
That's enough.
I'm not involved in this. I'm not involved.
Not involved. Yeah, so we're definitely going to apply for White House press passes. I think, fuck it. Just stretch it as far as we can go. Let's see if we can get international press gigs. Go to like Argentina, Japan, Russia, wherever the fuck anybody will have us. We're not speaking the language at all. Goals for 2020. Go to other countries and make sure they pay though for the flights. I feel like if we went to Japan, they would pay because they just like to have random white guys come there that speak English to do events. So we could just be like, hey, we're white guys that speak English, and we do press, kind of. I mean, not real press, but we pretend. So we could buy one of those hats with the press logo on it. Anyway, speaking of goals for 2020, what's your goal for this new coming year? New possibilities. Endless possibilities, if you will.
Yeah. Well, not only after we get the anthology out, I want to follow that up with my own either collection of short stories or maybe like one like middle range kind of story, like maybe something that's like,
like a novella or something shorter.
Something like that, you know. Afterward, maybe a couple months after the anthology come out, depending on how everything plays out, I want to, or I don't necessarily want to, but I probably should try to boost the social media game. That's I should have mentioned that in the fails column of like.
Oh yeah, not doing anything with social media.
Not a goddamn thing. And like you even try sometimes. Like you tag me and like mention me in things, and a lot of times
do not go into it.
A lot of times I don't.
Yeah,
I'll like something, I'll retweet it.
Dude, it's not hard. If you got a low Twitter follower, all you gotta do is be like, hey everybody, I'm new to the Twitter game. Can you please give me a follow in the writing community? And then you just get to like 5,000 followers, and then you just ignore it like I do.
I mean, as long as you post a profile pic as a woman, that seems to be the driving force right there.
Change your name to Fat Tit McGee or something, and then just slutty picture, but like slutty, but not super slutty. Yeah. Like a little bit of cleavage, but kind of like Velma from Scooby Doo's.
Yeah,
like you make it like a real person, and you do that for about 2 months until you have 20,000 followers, and then you just go to Spencer. Yeah,
because none of them are really actually paying attention, so it's not like they'll notice the change.
Oh no, nobody gives a fuck about you on the internet. Like that's one thing I've noticed, that if you get 2 or 3 people that are even remotely interested in what you say, that doesn't like, whenever you tweet or post something, they're not just trying to get their opinion across so people will pay attention to them. Like that's very rare. For the most part, people just want to hear themselves
Well,
talk. So.
see, like, my big problem is, like, it's just not, like, it's Twitter in general. Like, I don't really fuck around with Twitter that much anymore. And I don't know. I think I started following too many people, and I was like, this is getting ridiculous. I can't keep up with any of it.
I mean, I was telling Ashley, like, a week or two ago, I don't even fucking check my feed anymore. I can't.
Yeah.
Because, one, Twitter doesn't have the option to, like, not show you things that other people are liking. So it would be my whole feed is just a bunch of fucking tweets of people I don't even follow.
Yeah.
Because, like, people I do follow liked them. So that's a pain in the ass. And then...
Yep.
And then I work and stuff, and then I'm always actually writing. So I'm not on there enough to really be able to go to people's profiles and be like, oh, I really like what you're saying. So if I'm lucky, something will catch my eye, and I'll have some kind of conversation. I try to start conversations. I'll engage people that way. But, dude, what the fuck are you doing there, Ash? Sounds like he's, like, throwing his microphone around.
No, I was just typing something. Sorry. I'll stop.
Sounded like you were, like, fist bumping your fucking computer.
I had an idea. But I'll keep that idea to myself from now on.
What's an idea?
What are these ideas?
Idea?
What is this thing you speak of?
That's not how you create books. That's an idea. That's just like what you steal off other people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just what you reformat and reboot. Duh.
That's what James Patterson told me.
I made myself... the one podcast we follow that we engage with sometimes whenever he's not being too British somewhere, the Ear Read This podcast, they've been having James Patterson.
Oh, dude,
hilarious.
Did you listen to that one?
Yeah, that was great. But that got me interested in why James Patterson's popular, because they were reading his actual book and it was fucking terrible. So I was like, well, how does this guy make so much money? He's worth $800 million. He's only behind J.K. Rowling, and I just don't get it. How? How did you sell some? And they always... Unlike J.K. Rowling, well, I mean, he does have, like, some movies and stuff based off his work, but for the most part, he makes all his money from writing. And I think we should just focus our writing to the dumbest fucking people.
And the real fucked up thing about it is, the last couple years, or probably a decade or so, is he's not even doing the majority of the writing.
Yeah, he has somebody else write it, and he probably just gives them the ideas.
Yeah.
Or tells them what to write.
He comes up with an idea. He said, and I bought his masterclass thing on that website masterclass.
I did hear that was actually pretty good. It
was all right if you're into like outlining, but I'm not an outline writer, so it didn't really apply to me. It was kind of interesting to see the other side of the aisle, though. But essentially, he is like a gigantic folder of ideas. And then he has several writers that work with him, co-writers, and he writes like an extremely detailed outline, sends it to them. They fill in the blanks essentially and just flesh it out, send it back to him. And he's like, oh, I kind of like this, change this part. And so it's almost like a 50-50 work thing, but the other people are actually trying to make his
into art,
essentially. Yeah, a skeleton of a story into art. So that
actually reminds me of a lot of Craigslist writing ads I used to see when I was doing freelance writing, where it's like some douchebag has an idea and they want you to write their whole novel from that idea, and they'll pay you $50.
Oh my god!
It's always $50 for some reason. I'm like, do you realize how long it takes? Like, I'll write you the shittiest novel you want in a day for $50. Like, I'll just be like, the man was walking, and then he was talking, and then he ate a cheeseburger, and then the guy stabbed him in the dick hole, and like, I'll just have the whole story like that for $50. But
Tell me more, Caleb.
Well, see, this guy's name was Gerard, and he was hardcore. I just turned into the guy from the, what is it, the Monster Truck Rally commercials. Like, stabbed him in the dick. Yeah, that's fucking wonderful. Oh, yeah, so my goals
for
the
year.
year.
What are your goals?
I think I'm going to do some writing. Okay, I think I need to actually buckle down and get some, like I was talking with about the Madison Press, what is it, Lost Boys story. Like, maybe I'll actually start submitting to some things more seriously and actually follow through to try to get published. Because usually what happens is I'll submit to a couple bigger name magazines, get rejected after fucking 80 months, and then I just go, fuck it, and I just I publish it on DPW or throw the story away. Maybe I'll actually focus on getting the story published a little more and caring a little more. And also, I'm trying to use some beta readers now.
Yeah.
Try to get my work. But man, I had that last story beta read, and fucking, I let Ash read the one chick's thing. I didn't even read it yet because it was so fucking detailed. I was like, are you like a superb editor? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, the one girl gave me very helpful advice, but then the second one just went on and on and on. And I was like, Jesus, you just remade the story into your own. So I got to kind of fish for beta readers that are going to be a little more...
The one with the audio files or the other one?
Not the audio file one. I felt she was a little more helpful. Okay. The only issue with her was because she's from another country, some of the stuff, like just English, because I've actually had conversations with her before about her work because she was getting a lot of rejections on her. I think it was nonfiction stuff, like articles and things, because English isn't her native language. So a lot of the ways we write does not translate properly over there. So she was having some of her grievances actually had to do with that. So I kind of would ignore that, obviously. But she did come up with some things that were pretty helpful that I want to go back and check out. And but the other one, I just couldn't get into it yet because it was so detailed. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, it was like a fucking 10-page breakdown of every line of the whole story. It's like, that's not really beta reading in my opinion. That's like something an editor would do. So
and that's way too much because like if you like, I'm talking like if I asked you to read my story and if you can't tell me what's wrong with it within like a paragraph. Yeah, there's a bigger problem then. Like
other than grammar issues, which is fine to point out.
Oh yeah.
If it's actually story issues, I feel like if it's over a couple paragraphs, it's pretty much just like, hey man, you need to rework this or it sucks. Like, just one of the two, throw it away or just rework it. Again, like I didn't even go over like what her whole critiques things because it was too much. Yeah, like if you break it down line by line, like every single thing, I don't know if it's going to be valuable to me because then it's like you're making it your story.
Because whenever I read it and I told you what I think needed worked on in like 2 text messages.
Yeah, like Ash, he went through because I do it with his stories too. The other than like the grammar errors, there's a couple things that might either not make sense or parts of the stories like, hey, either rework this or like what's the person's motive. Like simple things like that are helpful. But when you're just like, hey, you should cut out this whole part because I feel the character should be thinking like this. Well, now like it's not your character.
Yeah.
How do you know what the fucking character's thinking?
That's bullcrap.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna... Again, I just threw that out there on Twitter to get a couple beta readers. My third beta reader never even got back to me, so I mean, I was anticipating all of them would do something like that. So I was actually surprised to get the 2.
That's a good turnout, I mean.
Yeah, so maybe I'll find like a writing group or something to get... Because I just want at least 5 to 10 beta readers. That way you could do, the averages.
Yeah.
Because if you have a couple people, like more than 2 to 4 people telling you the same thing, okay, that might be an actual problem. But when you have one person tell you something like this that needs fixed, but then the other person actually likes that, now you're kind of confused. Well, what needs fixed? I mean, you just you want to get a nice group selection there. So that's my goal for 2020 is to get a couple, maybe like a steady alpha reader and a couple good beta readers. And then I want to get published in a couple. I definitely need to get my credits out there because...
That will make things a lot easier.
Yeah, because right now where my writing credit stands, just hundreds of like fucking fitness articles and different freelance articles. That's all nonfiction, so that doesn't really help me too much. And I have been toying around the idea of getting back into paid freelance writing, just because we want to buy a house this year. So I was thinking maybe that'll help supplement our income a little. I don't know. I mean, other than the anthology, I want to get back to that short horror story collection I was writing, and I've been having a lot of ideas for different novels too, so I don't know if I want to start the process on that this year. But I definitely need, the number one thing I need to do is just to up my writing output a lot.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm not just writing a couple 100 to 1,000 words a day, maybe 2,000 to 5,000 words a day. Like I really need to boost it. Because what happens to me, like this year, I was on even just recently, I was on a great writing output, up to 2,000 words a day, and then I got sick that one week, and that just fucking wiped me out. And then I still haven't properly recovered from that.
Holidays and shit
the
like
holidays fucked everything, because like that's also what was a big hit to the anthology, like getting that done, because I wanted it done by the end of December, but just with all that, like getting sick, and then the holidays, and constantly doing stuff, it hit me too hard, and my writing fucking output just went But
Yeah.
come January, everything's going to slow up. So hopefully that boosts me up. Like, I did a good bit of writing today. I started working on, I was thinking of doing like a fantasy series for DPW. Even though we don't focus too much on fantasy, I actually found fantasy is the easiest fucking genre to write. Because you can just make up stuff as long as you keep in your own... We should probably do an episode on this, but as long as you keep in...
You just have to make up the rules and
then
stick by
with
them.
That's, you stick by the rules of your own world. You can do whatever you want. It's so easy, and the writing's pretty formulaic.
Well, that's what people don't understand. Like that, even like science fiction, time travel. You are the one that decides what is
what
real,
works and what doesn't.
Yeah, and you just got to stick by that.
Yeah, so... I'm toying around with just a serial story of that, and I mean, that could be fun. And I know our fans like that because we have a lot of fans. Well, even in general, the world is just made up of fantasy readers anymore. So.
And they love their cereal things.
Yeah, they do. So
Granola.
Yeah, and like we were talking last episode, and me and Ash were discussing about, doing, and you brought in the Conan book, the Conan the Barbarian collection, and we want to do like a fantasy bookcast. For the next month or two, we're going to come up with some fucking story. I got that Elric of Molybdenate from Michael Moorcock that I'm going to read and see if that's worth anything.
Moorcock.
Oh,
more of it.
Me and Ashley watched a video. I don't think he watched it. I watched a video of an interview between him and Alan Moore, and they started making out at the end. It was really gross.
No, if that's your last name, you'd make everybody call you. You know how like some people just get called by their last name?
You just want everybody to call you Moorcock?
Yeah, hey Moorcock, yeah? Get over here, Moorcock.
It's better than my, the name before we changed it was actually Lustingcock.
I watched part of that video. I got overwhelmed by words, and
it was really long.
The fact that my toddler was punching me in the balls, and I was like, "Well, this sounds like a good time to maybe put it on pause."
Yeah, we'll do that when it's nice and dark, and their voices could warm my soul and rock me to sleep.
Alan Moore can secretively cast a curse upon you.
Yeah, that's something he would do because he's a fucking wizard. Him and Moorcock definitely battle at night. Like, they have sword fights. There's no way they're not.
Well, when you say sword fight,
whatever kind of sword fight they're having, there's no way those two weren't into LARPing at some point.
No, because like LARPing is like a very groupal, like together thing, and I don't see Alan Moore just wanting to be around anybody.
So maybe like a Dungeons and Dragons without friends.
Yeah.
He's just by himself. I guess that's what they do. They just write stories.
Yeah, like he writes the story.
He's the fucker that wrote the manual for the thing.
Like he writes the story, and then he writes each character, and then when he goes to each character, rolls the dice, and then for each character, then goes back to the dungeon master guy, and he just plays all of it.
What a jerk. I don't want to be friends with that guy anymore.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
I have a lot of friends you don't know about, Spencer. Don't judge me. I used to be best friends with Joe Pesci.
Oh yeah, what happened? You thought he was funny or something?
I made a short joke once. He got really mad, and he hasn't spoken to me since. It happens.
It's like all I said was I was short on cash, and he just freaked out
and got furious. Back in the 90s when tough guys could be midgets. Whoa, what a...
or just out of shape.
Yeah, just short fat guys could be tough guys. Oh, I miss the 90s. That's where my nostalgia goes. I don't care about old TV shows and shit. It's just Joe Pesci beating the shit out of people with baseball bats.
You needed four abs to be an action star back then.
Yeah, if that. I mean,
you didn't need the 6 or anything like that.
All you really had to do is just have a certain look. I mean, I feel like Hugh Grant could have been an action star if he just wasn't so nice. Like, anybody could have been an action star in the 90s, but now you got to...
He kind of turned, though. I mean, if you look at the British elections, Hugh Grant, he turned into kind of a jerk. He's, knocking on doors and all that crap and looking all creepy. And
I thought he was always a jerk.
Man,
If he knocked on my door, I'd be
Was
like,
he always the jerk? I don't know. I watched 2 Weeks Notice. That's all I know. As a Sandra Bullock, Hugh Grant. That's all I know.
He always looked like he was perpetually smelling farts, so I don't know. I never really...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he always had that look, but I mean, he's British and charming, quote unquote, so it's hard to judge those guys.
So it's like the British De Niro. It's weird. It's like, I smell something weird going on here.
Something stinks.
if he knocked on my door and started getting into my face about shit, I'd be like, wasn't you the guy who got pulled over with
transvestite?
Yeah, wasn't that you, dude?
No, Eddie Murphy was the transvestite. I think he's
just a prostitute.
Divine Brown. Why I know that? I couldn't tell you, but her name was Divine Brown, and she was a lady of the night, and he was just giving her a ride because he's a helpful gentleman. But then she also tugged his wiener because he was so helpful. Nice. Yeah. I think we can all agree that we should just get. What the fuck was that?
Oh, your basketball thing fell off the chair.
Why was there a basketball on a chair?
Your sling thing.
Oh,
those shot glasses.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that probably shattered. Just leave it there on the floor. Don't ever touch it again, Spencer. After you slammed it on the floor in super aggression because I was besmirching your idol, Hugh fucking Grant. Hugh Jackman's better. He's better song and dance man.
He is better.
He's more buff.
Well, he's also Australian, so it's like...
It's hard to be mad at Australian
What
guys.
about if he listens to the podcast?
Hugh Jackman or Hugh Grant?
Jackman.
Oh, no doubt.
Because I'm sure,
Yeah, he's one of our 11 listeners.
Yeah.
Shit.
Kylie Minogue does too, but she's not really that popular anymore, so we don't brag about that. Oh, I forgot to tell you. This is going to excite you. Next week, special guest for the podcast, Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You almost sound like Tim Allen. How upset would you be, Spencer, if I showed you a picture of our conversation? It was actually Jennifer Lopez, a video or something. And you're like, holy shit, she's actually coming? Yeah, man. And then when you get here, it's just like the situation from Jersey Shore or somebody, some real douche. It's just Mike Epps. Spencer hates Mike Epps. That would be the biggest disappointment in the world. Expecting Jennifer Lopez, you get Mike Epps.
Don't act like you're a big Mike Epps fan.
I don't have the hatred towards him like you do. I tolerated him in the Friday movies.
Well, the only good part of it, those are the only good things that he's in, and he's getting the shit beat out of him. That's the only good things that he's in.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Everyone has their roles, Spencer. It's you got to embrace your part in life.
And his is getting the shit beat out of him by Ice-T. Right?
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
Now you guys know what I know.
I don't know.
You gotta go sleep in the yard now. They all look the same to you, Spencer? Is that what you're saying? You dick.
Trade sleeping arrangements with Nitro. You're out in the doghouse tonight.
I feel like I'm not inebriated enough.
Are you
I feel like I'm way too inebriated.
What are you drinking, good sir? I don't think you mentioned
I was drinking some Devil's Cut.
Ooh.
That was just some angry whiskey that hates everyone and wants to punch everyone in the face. And I'm like, you know what? My face could use a good punch or 6. Maybe 9.
I never tried the Devil's Cut because I don't want Meg Griffin selling me liquor. That's the problem. She's the one in the commercials, right? Selling you the booze. Yeah, I'm like, shut up, Meg. I'm not drinking it. What do you know about booze? I'm not buying anything you're selling, lady.
Wait, Mila Kunis, is she legal? I don't.
She's 40 now.
Yeah.
She's pretty 40. Yeah, she's pretty old now.
I don't know.
She's actually kind of looking kind of rough now if you see her without
72, 73?
Yeah, whatever it is.
She's a boomer?
Boomer, yeah.
Boomer.
Okay, boomer. And then
I had somebody call me that on Twitter, and I had to look it up. I'm like, man, this means I'm old.
Called you a
I don't even know
boomer?
what this means. I was like, I don't know. I responded with logic and asking what you actually meant with it. I don't even know what it was about.
Yeah, that's
probably
the problem.
about a stupid movie.
Logic does not reign supreme in the world today. Dumbness does. Stupidity.
Did you see I'm not sure when, but on my feed, a video showed up of Jimmy Kimmel. One of the things going on the street, asking the people on the street questions.
Was it the book thing?
Yeah.
Name a book.
Yeah,
That's all it was.
Couldn't name a book.
Yeah, that made me furious.
Book.
Of course, they have to edit that so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
only the dummies.
Yeah,
But the fact
I
that they
was-
There
I
was
was
so
wondering.
many, though.
there was at least 15 people that couldn't name a single, couldn't even say the Bible or like Moby Dick or just something simple.
The dude thought the Moby Dick was the name of the
Yeah, he said he liked the book Horse written by Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god,
It hurt my brain.
my liver
Dude was like-
exploded at that point.
Dude was like, Jungle Book? The Jungle Book.
It's like the
To be
Jungle-
fair, the Jungle Book was a book, I believe, but
It's like, you mean the Jungle Books by Rudyard
Yeah.
Kipling? It's like, you're freaking.
jerk.
It's so hard to pronounce his name when I'm drunk. It's Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling.
I always thought it was Rudyard Kipling or Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. It's just there's too many syllables and there's way too much whiskey.
One thing I've learned from doing this podcast for over a year now is that there's a lot of words I've never spoken out loud until I read it on the show, and I go, oh.
Like every Japanese author's name, you're like, oh shit.
I think it's hilarious that this year I never got in trouble for fucking up Irish authors, Russian authors, or Japanese authors, but as soon as I fucked up the African authors,
that
we
was
were racist. DPW was got
dare
super
you.
racist for a week.
How dare you?
Oh.
Son.
So apparently you're not allowed to, I learned you're not allowed to speak about authors if you can't pronounce their name. So I'm sorry, world. I mean, when we fuck up British authors' names, nobody cares. It's the scale, I guess. The people of color scale. Like the Peter Griffin when he got pulled over as a taxi driver and they brought out the white to super dark scale.
Dude.
He was in the lighter scale, so he didn't get in trouble.
It's like the other three scales are like terrorist and everything like that.
And a random stupor I was in last night, I was actually mulling this over to myself. I was thinking, I know quite a few Mexican folks who, if you look at them, they just look white.
Yeah.
But they're considered
Mhm.
people of color. But I also know a few Italian folks who look like fucking, darker than Hulk Hogan naturally.
Yeah.
But they're not people of color. And I don't understand the distinction. Because I feel like Italians should just be the same thing, right? Because they have funny names and they speak a different language and they're... Yeah, boobity-bop-bidi-boop-bidi-bop. So I don't... Like, you can shit on Italians, but not Spanish-speaking folk, even though Spanish-speaking folks' heritage comes from Spain, which is white people that you can also make fun of. It's fucking confusing.
Makes no sense.
Woke
feel like this is
culture does not
dangerous
agree with
territory.
me. I don't know what the hell's happening anymore.
It's like dangerous territory for 2020.
Yeah, I figured we'd get it
That's
out.
my goal, is to not offend anyone of any racial diversity in 2020.
You know how you do
Not
that?
really.
You do
I
that.
stopped writing.
Yeah, you just stop speaking with the word. You hermit in the woods. But then they'll if you become a hermit in the woods, they'll say you're trying to be like a Shaolin monk and you're appropriating the Shaolin culture. So you can't do that.
You know,
That-
maybe I
that-
am.
you
I don't
make-
know.
When you go by yourself to be a hermit, and they'll be like, you're making people in crowds feel bad. You can't do that. You can't make crowded people feel bad by doing that.
What else have we accomplished in 2020? Getting back. Like, big circle back.
What do we want to accomplish, or what did we accomplish in 2019?
What did we accomplish in 2019? What did we accomplish as DPW in 2020? What do we want to see happen?
Well, as DPW as a brand, like you said, we've been doubling our numbers every year. So I definitely want to keep up with that. What do you say, Spencer, about our publishing schedule? Should we, in 2020, get back to publishing more stories and stuff weekly? Because the main reason when we stopped is because we're working on anthology and other things, but I do feel like we should... Like in previous years, we published a lot more to great fanfare, and maybe we should build up on that.
And well, if we're not doing stories, we should at least be trying to come up with like maybe some more articles or something. Just more new content. If we want to leave the actual storytelling to other things. But
Well, I stopped writing articles because we started doing articles on the podcast pretty much.
Yeah.
Like we just started talking about those topics on the podcast.
maybe doing like not like opinion pieces, but maybe just like
I used to do those too.
like essays or something. I guess I don't know.
The problem
Yeah.
is the time required to write those versus the amount of people who are willing to read the whole thing.
True.
Because people don't. That's one nut I have not been able to crack yet. Is because in my freelance days, everything had to be short, punchy, clickbait titles, and you want to have most of your information right at the get go. But if you write an actual quality article, that's not how you do it. You want to present proper information throughout that gets people engaged. But people don't read like that anymore.
No.
At least like the casual readers that just click articles. So if you write, I don't know, for instance, best top 5 ways to write a quality fantasy novel. It's hard to get. I mean, first off, you're actually writing to them just by having it in list format. But to get people to read that whole article and not just the headline of each category is really difficult. And it's almost like, that's why I kind of stopped. Am I just wasting my time? Because for every person that would give us feedback, an article will get 40 to 50 views or something like in the week it's published, but only 1-2 people comment. So is that only 1 or 2 people actually read the whole thing? It's hard to say. So yeah, I don't know if that. I feel like the podcast, doing those things on the podcast, is actually a better way. So maybe we should just focus on not necessarily writing like scripts, but coming up with top, bullet points for an article or something that we kind of do that anyway. Like we riff on, but maybe have a little more detail and just do that on the podcast because it's easier to listen for people now than I think me and Ash discussed before the difference between and I know me and you have. The popularity of audiobooks versus reading. Yeah. And it does seem like the audiobooks, for a while they were plateauing, but I just read that they actually are coming back, like they're raising up again, which pisses me off because I don't like audiobooks.
I've never tried. Because I know sometimes...
It's not reading, man. It's not the same.
And I just know because sometimes, listening to podcasts, I will, I'll zone out for, a minute or two if I'm in the middle of doing something and it's just kind of like background noise. You can't do that with a story. No. You can do that when you listen to guys bullshit about comic books or something. It's alright to step out for a minute on that, but...
Yeah, with a novel, somebody's reading War and Peace, you're gonna fucking zone out hard at some point probably. Versus if you're reading it, you're engaged.
The only reason I could maybe see that those are maybe making a bit of a comeback is probably with bigger books where you get normally the Stephen King audiobooks, they normally get a big actor or something to read it, you know what I mean? So that could be kind of, cool, but I don't know how that translates to the indie sales of years past whenever it seemed like a lot of people only wanted the audio of your stuff.
Well, let me hit you with this. Well, go ahead, Ash.
I was going to say with the Stephen King thing, it's George R.R. Martin, all those Game of Thrones books. It's these people are reading them, but you also have the option of doing 2 times speed. So people are shooting through them 2 times what normal people would normally speak. And I don't actually believe anyone can really pick up that much of a story if it's being read at 2 times the speed. But I guess people are feeling some sense of accomplishment, being I listened to, a 47-hour long book in 28 hours instead. So it's look at me, I'm super cool. It's I don't know. It's the audiobook thing I'm kind of torn on. I think it's cool, but it's also
it doesn't take effort.
Sense of accomplishment.
No. Yeah. Because I hear about people bragging about how many books they read in a year. Even on the Joe Rogan podcast, he's always talking about, I read this book. And he's like, well, I listened to it. It's not the fucking same.
Yeah.
For me, reading a book is that takes effort. Listening, you can just sit there fucking stoned or high or drunk or whatever and just, listen to a book.
Well, the listening... The only thing that I would maybe think would be different because with Rogan is a lot of science or
it's a lot of nonfiction.
So that would maybe be a little bit easier or better to listen to. Because I know with that kind of stuff, I maybe understand it more you telling me than trying to read that and be what is that? What is that? That 10 that 15-letter word?
Yeah.
So
why are there equations?
But still, I don't like the Audible.
Well, as we close out this episode, let me present to you another question. What's your reading goals for 2020? That's a simple one there.
I'm definitely gonna finish because I only got a couple more of Mr. King's books left, so those are gonna be going out. I guess try to bulk up more of the classic literature, that kind of stuff. I've started the H.P. Lovecraft collection, which I don't want to take blame, but you've noticed since I've started that, it's got awful foggy around here every day, like, since I started reading that.
Yeah, Christmas, as soon as you finish Color Out of Space, Christmas Eve was just like a whiteout of fog. It was very weird. So you might have, having Spencer read H.P. Lovecraft is definitely awakening the old ones for sure. Yeah, my goals, I've already kind of started branching out, reading African literature, which I've never read before. I mean, I started that 2020, so I'm going to finish the Japanese books on my list. And every year I try to read so many international novels, so I'm thinking about trying some Spanish writers this year, because I haven't read too many Spanish books.
Go Canadian writers.
Just quiet. No, actually, we have a couple. I actually have some Canadian writers, some of our indie writers that have sent me books, so I actually will be reading those this year.
Dude, yeah, check out Chris Burton. He's awesome.
Yeah, you were talking about him before. Yeah,
he's great.
But Canadian is not international to me. It's just white people.
Nice of white people.
Yeah,
Maple leaves.
I've read some Italian fiction in the past, so I'll probably revisit that. As far as classics, I want to do the Divine Comedy this year. I have a shitload of books, as you've seen, so I'm going to probably start Jack London this winter because that seems appropriate for the time. And then I have to finish that Penny Dreadfuls collection I have, which is classic gothic horror stories. And then I have a shitload of things I'll probably just cycle through. But mainly more international works and obviously the classic literature I read all the time.
Plus random comic books I throw at you like, hey, read this. And you're like, I don't want I read it.
Read it, you'll like it. It's about transvestites. Are you allowed to say that word anymore?
Probably not.
Yeah, but what if it's actually the title of the book? Anyway,
No.
Ash, what about you, Ash?
I think I'm going to try to finish all of Thomas Wolfe's books from like the early 1920s. He's like the forgotten generation writer.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to try doing that and maybe looking for a still living author that I don't despise their prose, but that's been kind of it's been that's been an uphill battle. That's been tough.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's so hard. I go through Barnes & Noble or wherever and I start reading and I'm like, oh my god, this sucks ass. Why are you making money? No, this is great. No, it actually sucks ass. Okay, page 69.
Yeah, for modern authors, other than the ones that are super famous, I have not found too many quality writers or like writers that I would actually want to go through their bibliography. I read a lot of, anytime I try modern fiction from an author I'm not too aware of, it usually sucks balls. Or it's just mediocre, or something. If I feel like if it's something that I could either write or write better, I'm very disappointed by the book.
And it's like the inverse with classic literature. You find somebody that you're not aware of that existed 200 years ago that wrote something obscure, and you read it and you're like, oh my gosh, this absolutely floored me, this is amazing. And then you read something from somebody that's obscure today and you're just like, wow, I could wipe my ass with this. This is so great. This make great toilet paper. I don't know,
maybe for 2020 we should name and shame awful authors. That every episode start the episode off with James Clingerton fucking sucks ass, and then just keep going. Just some random name. Yeah, I have been awfully disappointed by some modern writers. That's the problem because we've been trying to cover like an indie author for every book of the month, and so far we've been doing pretty good. But I always worry, like one of these days we're gonna get, because more often than not, novels are shitty. Yeah. So I don't want to get a book of the month author and be like, hey, we're going to read this and announce it, and then it's so terrible, and then I have to go on air and tell the folks how much, like, this author sucks ass. Yeah. Because that's just going to tank their sales, and I don't want to fucking dive into the negative sphere. So I think what we try to do is if a book is really terrible, we just fucking throw it away.
Yeah.
Take a dump on it and just don't mention it again.
Talk about the things that you like, not that you don't like.
Yeah, because I don't want to put. Of course, if it's really offensively awful, I might just be like, "Hey, fuck that guy."
Yeah.
That book is so terrible. It was written by a fucking like if it's like some prick on fucking Twitter who's. Oh, yeah, you guys are covering my book, but it's really entitled. It's like, oh, well, why didn't you like this part? And, nah, you know what? You're just not reading it right. And you're just fucking, you're a douche. You're a hack writer yourself. What do you care? Like, if that guy's, for reading that guy's
dude,
book.
you just justified the KKK. That's not cool. You can't do something like that.
Shut up, man.
That's not literary. That's racist.
I could do what I want. So anyway, folks, if you have any ideas for what we should do for 2020, let us know. You can hit us up on drunkenpenwriting.com. Go to the old Twitter at drunkenpenwriting where we share saucy memes and interesting articles. You can hit us up on Facebook and Instagram also at drunkenpenwriting. You're a baby.
Sorry, my child just in the other room. Yeah, that's nice. Go play.
Reminds me of that, I think it was like that British guy that was doing like an at-home conference and it was televised on a live TV on the news and his kids just bust in and like the stay-at-home nurse like bust in and grabbed the kid like yoked it up.
Strange fact is I don't actually have kids, so that was weird.
These little kids just burst out of the closet. There's those demon babies again.
Oh damn!
Here they come again. They don't have eyes. Oh boy. Well, since we're going into 2020 and you want to boost your social media, Spencer, where can the fans reach you?
I'm at what the fuck? You already know it's bad.
Come on, man.
I already know it's bad. The Twitter is Spencer Church 88. Spencer Church 88.
Jesus,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. That's well. I don't follow myself for what I know.
It's like not knowing your own phone number.
Yeah.
I don't know my home address.
I live here. I got a bracelet that has my phone number, my address, just because if I ever get lost, it's tied onto me.
If you folks want to follow me, it's at CalebJames1986 on Twitter and Instagram. I will at least comment back to you. Unlike Spencer, who might not hit you up unless you send him dick pics. So make sure to do plenty of DM dick pics. Especially you Australia folks, because I know you're not circumcised.
So much of those dick pics.
So many. What about you, Ashley? You got anything you want to promote?
Not really. I really don't want people following me because that makes me obligated to respond.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So go to the Drunken Pen website and comment on all our stories and poems.
That's a better idea.
Yeah. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, that's a way better idea, actually. Yeah, do that, folks. From DPW to your home, we hope you have a wonderful new year. Be safe tonight. Do not drink too much, or if you do not drive or handle heavy machinery and or machine guns. Flamethrowers are fine. Anyway, take care. See you later and stay sexy. Well, we have lost Ashley somehow. It was bound to happen. We can't have nice things or work out, with the talking and the functioning of mechanics and work. So you have a story for us, Spencer.
I have a story.
Yes, and why don't you regale us with your tales of mystery?
So, the other morning, super early, like first hour of getting into work, the place I work at, we take orders. We can make orders like for you to come pick up for, like chicken and trays and shit, for whatever you're doing.
Edible delicatessens.
Yes. So at like I said, 9 o'clock in the morning, phone rings. I go to answer it. There's this lady. She asks me for something. Now at first I don't quite catch it. The phones are shitty. They kind of drop out a little bit sometimes. So she tells me what she's looking for, and I'm like, I'm sorry. What was that? She says, ham penis.
Hand penis.
Ham.
Ham penis.
She wants a ham penis.
Penis of
ham.
Okay.
So I'm like, we don't have that here. Like, and I was like, yeah, so we can't do that. Sorry. Obviously, like, prank call.
All right.
But I always try to give those a little leeway. Let's see where it goes. If it's like fun or kind of interesting, I'll play along for a little bit.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Could be entertaining. Make your work day better.
So she gets kind of mad. She has to see a manager. She wants to talk to a manager. I'm like, all right, whatever. Let the manager deal with this. So I go and I try to find one of the team leads, whatever. And they're like, yeah, I'm not talking to that person. And I was like, all right, I figured they're not going to be on the phone by the time I get back. I wanted to let you know, so if they tried to call back and say something about, like, they called her and
now when you went to the supervisor, did you say, hey, this person has questions about ham penis?
Yeah. That's basically along them lines. So I come back, and to my surprise, it's still on the line. I was not expecting that. That would make kind of like commitment.
Right.
You don't get that nowadays.
So they go in the extra mile. It's usually ham penis. Click.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, my manager doesn't want to talk to you. She's like, what? You don't want to talk to me? All I want to do is get a ham penis. I want to get a ham penis for my bachelorette party. And I'm like,
at this point, it's hard to say though, because that could be a serious request.
Yeah, it could be. And I'm like, well, first of all, we don't even have that. You have to go to like a butcher for that or something. She's like, no, and like you just get like like a little wooden like rod, and you just like stick ham into it. It's like.
So she wanted chunks of ham the shape of penis.
Of the shape as the penis, yes.
It's a little more reasonable.
I suppose. And I'm like, yeah, that's not something we do here. Family store, we don't do that here. Wouldn't have a problem doing it.
Personally,
Yeah.
I'm all for ham penis.
I would give it to you for a discount.
If I had it my way, there'd be a whole display and everything.
Yeah. So then she starts like, getting into it and, getting all excited and stuff. And then she's just like, she asked me how old I am. And 31. She's, you want to be a stripper at my bachelor party? I was like, no, ma'am, you can't, you don't want none of that.
Do you realize what store you called?
Yeah. And so she, it's like, you want to be, you want to be a stripper at my bachelorette party, and then like for some reason she whispered, she's like, you want some pussy? You want some pussy? It's like,
we have to wonder where this lady is that she has to whisper that, but can openly say ham penis.
Yeah, like. So I'm just kind of like, well, yeah, like, well, who doesn't,
Yeah, right.
And then she just blurts out, she's just like, "Oh, your asshole,"
as one does.
And I'm just like, what? Like, how's that just? Like, that's your first go-to? Like, just I'll eat your asshole?
Again, ma'am, do you know who you're dealing with?
Yeah, because I told her, I was like, hey. I appreciate the alpha man, but I was like, you don't want none of that. You don't want to go near that thing. And then she asked for like my number. Can
he can hear us, okay. So he's definitely replying, and it's hilarious. But we can't hear his intros there.
So there's a little bit more back and forth going on there, and she asked for my number, and we've had a conversation about this before of like. Passing things up,
Right.
So I figured
when the opportunity presents itself,
just to see where this goes. I gave her my phone number.
Oh.
Immediately calls me on like her other phone, which is still shady as shit.
Yeah.
But calls me.
Her burner asshole eating phone.
Yeah. Well, no, because when she's like, "Oh, do you want some pussy?" I was like, "Aren't you about to get married?" She's like, well, I'm not married yet. I'm like, oh, okay.
See, that's where she fucked up, because she could have said it was somebody else's bachelorette party that she's planning.
Yeah.
Now you're making her nervous.
Yeah. I don't think, like I said, I don't think she was expecting this much. Like, I thought she was expecting just a hang-up or something. Like, no. We'll go. Let's see what
We're both committed at this point.
Yeah. I'd rather be doing this than working.
Technically, you're still on the job.
Yeah.
You are working. She's not.
So then she calls, and I answer, And then she hang back up, and she's still talking to me on the phone, like, wanting to, like, do the whole be my stripper thing, and, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, because she kept wanting me to send her a picture. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna do that. And then she asked me my last name. I was like, I'm not giving you my last name. You got my first name, first of all, like, but no. And then I'm like, I gotta get back to work, and I eventually hang up. And then she texted me, show me your picture. And I'm like...
That's where you should have sent her a big mandingo you got off of Google.
I was thinking about it. But I was like, you send me a picture first. Like, I think that's more than fair. I've made you more than halfway in this scenario.
That's common courtesy.
Yeah. I just need some kind of thing to not prove that it's like an elaborate prank, or like I'm not gonna end up losing like all my organs. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, or if you're gonna lose your organs, you can at least see something beforehand.
Yeah. And then so she never responded back. And then like I even later like I said I was kind of into it now, because I was just like I waited like half an hour. I was like, you must have not really wanted it that bad then. And then just fucking with her a little bit more throughout the day, and that was basically it.
Now, in that scenario, there's definitely, like, a small part of you, right? That's just like, yeah, this has got to be real. I want this to happen.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see something.
You know what? Even if it wasn't, like, her, you should have just got, like, a picture off the internet or something.
Yeah, if you're going to go through all the effort of trying to talk to managers and stuff, you'd think you'd go the extra mile and send a picture.
Because even at the end of the night, I texted her, like, one last time. I was like...
You turned into the creep.
Yeah, I turned into the creep. This is
what you didn't know what you did, bitch. You shouldn't have gave me your number.
Yeah, because when she called, it was blocked. But when she texted me...
You got her number.
Yeah.
Now you're getting all kinds of gross things. You wanted a picture? Here it is. And then you get Spencer's brown eye, and nobody wants to see that.
That's why I told you didn't want to go there. But, so I was just like, wow, one last text, I was like, look... I'm just out of curiosity. I want to know, was this just a huge prank? Or was there any seriousness to it? I don't care either way. I'm just curious. I want to know.
I want the answers.
Yeah.
And you just got left with no answers?
No, nothing.
Chickened out.
Chicken.
Oh, man. Kids today. They don't know what they're doing.
But at least, I could say I followed through on that scenario just to see where it went. Got a story out of it.
That's all you can really do in this life.
And I was thinking about it. That's the beginning to a very fucked up story that I could write.
Yeah, unlike your real life scenario, which was kind of lame with the not texting you back, it could easily be like, yeah, and then send a picture, and then meet me at the hotel, and then there's your whole ride.
There's a whole bunch of shit that could happen.
Organ stealing, sexy lady of the night that turns out to be a man.
Beat up by a whole bunch of dudes, like that was like his girlfriend's phone or something, and they were just using it to, this is how we beat people up.
Somebody's saucy mom and the fucking super rich husband finds out, and now you're in an international caper.
Oh, yeah.
There's all kinds of ways you can go. You find out it's Jason Bourne's wife. Matt Damon.
Well,
I'm glad things like that happen to you. I haven't had an event like that in quite some time.
Because you stopped working where I work.
Yeah, but I still get weirdos I deal with.
I'd imagine you probably on your deliveries.
Well, did I tell you the one time, I won't mention the establishment, but in my line of work, I go to some seedy locations to deliver alcoholic beverages in big trucks. And this was years ago, I was accompanying another gentleman I work with to a certain establishment that's known to be a huge dump in the area. And we're delivering the beverages. And as I'm leaving, I walk past a couple of lesbians who are really, really attractive.
So like actual lesbians.
Well, I'll get to that. They were very fine ladies, very young. Should have been in a bar for sure. Well, they leave before me, and we get to check and everything, and I am leaving, and there is an African-American gentleman of about 60 or so in a fly-ass suit, speaking with some other folks, and I walk by him, and as I'm leaving, I feel something behind me, like a dun-dun, like footsteps.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of anything, but I'm always kind of in these situations.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just ready to fight anybody because I'm
On
pissed off.
guard.
I'm at work. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll beat somebody up. I don't care. I go outside. All of a sudden I hear is, "Excuse me." And I'm like, what? And before I even see that, I look over and the two young ladies are making out.
Still.
Like, hard. No, they're like fucking tongue fucking each other's faces, rubbing nipples, everything. Like, they're barely wearing anything, and they're clearly sexing each other up in the parking lot. So I'm more interested in that, but I have to obviously...
You're like looking over the shoulder.
I have to be like, well, who just, was talking to me? So I turn around, and it's the older African-American gentleman, and with the fly-ass suit, and he's looking at me, and I said, yes, and he said, excuse me. Well, apparently he was upset when I walked past him that I didn't say, excuse me. Because apparently, I don't know, it was some kind of a disrespectful something or other. And I was like, I don't understand, sir. And he was like,
How close were you by him?
Not very close. I mean, I walked past like a normal... I didn't walk... It's not like I cut him in his conversation off.
Like, nobody had to move to get out of each other's way when you walked by?
No, nobody had to move. They were by the bar. I just walked around.
And there was no reason to,
Regardless... I didn't do anything wrong, but he was upset, so I just apologized. Like, oh, my bad, man. I was whatever.
Okay.
I just walked past you. I don't know. And he was like, oh. And then I looked over at the girls and was like, I know why you came out here. You want, And he started laughing, and he, I could tell he was fooling around with something in his pocket, so it was either a knife or a gun or something. But that seemed to cool his embers, and he started stuttering. He's like, whoa, no. And I was like, And I was like, well, we gotta go. Whatever, man. I'm sorry for cutting you off or whatever I did. And he was like, yeah, that's fine, brother. That's what I'm fucking 50 daps, you know. And then he goes back inside, and the lesbians are sitting there fingering each other or whatever. And they start giggling real hard, too, by the way, when I said, like, what? I know why he came out here. They start giggling super hard. We get in the truck. Immediately dawned on me. Prostitutes, pimp.
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't experience that in person very often.
So you think he was trying to, like, offer? Like, hey, they're there, it's only...
Well, no, and apparently I offended him and he was going to go shank me in the parking lot, but then, obviously when he went outside, I'm a lot bigger than him, and he also, I apologized, so he just was like, oh, whatever, but then he was probably thinking, like, I pointed out the ladies, and is it clearly an illegal endeavor, and I'm standing in front of, a big beer truck, and he probably was thinking I was going to call the cops or something, which I don't give a fuck. Pimp all you want, sir.
Yeah.
Those ladies were very fine. I enjoyed watching them. That made my day better, but I'm not going to pay for their services, which is what they were obviously trying to drum up. I don't think they were actually lesbians.
Yeah.
But they were really into each other. Regardless of the situation, it was an interesting experience, and I was very happy I had it. But I would have beat a motherfucker up if it came to it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would have became the pimp, because I think that's how the hierarchy goes, right? You beat up the pimp, you become the pimp.
You pull out your pocket out of your pants. And
Yeah, he's holding my pocket because I beat him up and stole his weapons and became the alpha.
Yeah.
And then I inherited his property, if you will.
I just want to know when, like, all this happened. What's the other guy that's with you? Like, is he just
laughing his ass off? He thought it was the funniest thing. And I was like, I was about to get stabbed, right? Like, there was going to be a knife fight, and my knife wasn't very big, and I assumed his was because he had a fly-ass suit.
Yeah.
Purple, frilly things on the sleeves, and, of course, the tie matched, the socks matched. I assume the underpants matched. And I don't know what that guy's name was, but I'm pretty sure he's dead now. But it was an event.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
I don't know how I started talking about this.
But you had to top my gross story.
As you will. But yeah, that's what it was. Is things like that don't happen to me too often, though, where I have hilarious events. That was the highlight, and that was years ago. I don't get too many gross stories come my way anymore. I have the occasional, like, somewhat gross person that'll, like, talk to me or something. But I don't get too many penis hams.
Very, very rare people do.
Yes. So, going into 2020, folks. Send Spencer pictures of penis hams. And if you're that fine lady that happens to be listening to this, who sent... well, you didn't send a picture, but you talked to Spencer about penis hams. Misconnection.
I'm just curious.
You don't gotta go to Craigslist with misconnections. Yeah. You can just... You have his number.
Yeah.
Let him know. If you're a bigger girl, it's okay.
I'm just interested,
He just wants to know.
Yeah, I'm literally, like, genuinely curious now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit, I gotta go to the fucking gas station. She's not here yet, but she's going to be.
Yeah.
So, For you folks listening, I hope you enjoyed those stories. Ashley, sir, good sir.
Bye, sir.
I know you're listening. Spencer says goodbye. I'll text you here in a minute. Everybody have a good New Year, and we're all drunk. Except for Spencer, who didn't drink.
I didn't drink.
Gatorade. Whatever. See you later. Bye.